From the ball of mustard yellow yarn in the clearance bin at Joann Fabric to the extra large Nordic knit pullover that's keeping you oh so warm this winter season. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jason Burns.
And this is Danny Nucci. My name always sounds weird when I say it. It's weird saying my own name. I don't know why that is. This is the What About podcast.
It is. Danny, I'm going to put my sports sweater on for a second. I guess that's my sports cap. And talk a little bit about what you think of this upcoming Super Bowl now that we have the teams set.
What do I think about it?
Do you think as poorly as the rest of the nation apparently
I don't know.
feels
What is I haven't read up on the reviews. I've been napping, as we talk about later.
I think people are upset, much like they were with my team back in the day, the Patriots, because we're seeing a lot of the same players, same logos in the Super Bowl, in the big game.
Well, get better at playing and get personnel. What can I tell you? Work the cap better. Draft better. Make better free agent signings. Everybody's got the same limitations. You know what I mean? Yes, there's certain bigger markets or smaller markets, but at the end of the day, you know, there was a lot of teams that passed on Patrick Mahomes, and everyone passed on Brock Purdy. So, you know what I mean? Like, so
Mr. Irrelevant. That's the best part of the whole story. His story.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think John Lynch has done an amazing job with that roster. You know, I mean, it's a reason, and plus it's both. You know, the defense played really well against Baltimore, which was surprising the degree to which they played so well, and the Lions had it. So, you know what I mean? The Lions had it, and it's just unfortunate.
People wanted to see the Lions. They're the lovable losers, you know. It's one of those things that you wanted to see.
Well, they've never been. I just wanted them to go because they've never been. Them and the Browns have never been. And they've been in the NFL forever. So, but this was not meant to be a sports podcast.
No, I just had to get it out there. It's a long weekend of watching games.
No, I understand. Listen, I'm excited. I mean, the fact is I can't pick them. I don't know what Vegas has them at, but I can't pick them. I couldn't tell you who's going to win.
What do you do for the Super Bowl? Do you have a tradition?
It depends.
You wear Depends on the Super Bowl?
I wear Depends on the Super Bowl, so I don't have to get up from the TV. Daddy, they have pause now. It doesn't matter. I'm not moving. I sometimes go. So sometimes that's a tradition. Sometimes we have people over, my wife and I, and have people over. And other times, one of my favorite things, it's just me and the Super Bowl. And I get to watch. I really get to watch it. But all of it is great. I love the entire thing.
Do you love comedy?
Yeah, I love comedy.
Do you love Ron Funches?
I do love Ron Funches.
Do you love Ron Funches in a sweater?
I love Ron Funches in today's sweater.
It was a nice sweater.
Well, I mean, just what a treat he was to talk to. Yeah, Ron Funches, comedian, actor, writer, and all-around funny man with a great smile and a great laugh. Ron Funches. Ron Funches.
Hello.
Ron! Oh my God, I'm so excited to talk to you, Ron.
Thank you for having me.
I'm telling you, you are the human, all-natural version of, the meds that make my brain all right. You make me happy. You're my antidepressant.
Okay.
Ron Funches, antidepressant. Where are you? What part of the world are you in?
I'm in Los Angeles, in the Valley.
That's so funny. I'm not far from you. I could spit to the Valley from where I am.
So please don't.
No, I'm not. I won't. I mean, I'll spare you. But yeah, I'm just over there from there. That's where I am.
And I am in Massachusetts, Ron. And I was really bummed out when I saw your dates. You're coming to the East Coast, but you're only going to Vermont.
I know. I mean, there'll be more.
All right.
Well, he's like, don't worry, relax, pump the brakes.
I hope so. I saw
You'll see me. It's gonna be okay.
3 dates in Burlington. We got to get some Boston in there. Providence.
Absolutely. I agree.
So I want to start with here's some quotes and comments from your Giggle Fit comedy special on YouTube. You ready? He's like, all right, I'm prepared. Here it comes, Ron. Quote: a treasure of a human and comedian. Ron Funches is a treasure we do not deserve.
So true.
You could be dead inside, and this man's smile will still warm your soul. I mean, is that great? I particularly love that one. I mean, you do have a great smile. I mean, it's really hard to find people that don't like your comedy or your vibe. I mean, so what happens? Does that like put pressure on you to be cheery all the time? Because I know a few comedians. They're not all cheery.
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry, my eyes are like. I just woke up from a nap. I look like crap.
Is that woke up? Should I put that in quotes as well?
No, it's true. I mean, I also took 100 milligram edible, but they're both together.
Sure, of course, yes.
They go hand in hand.
It's a combo platter. I understand.
The two together. No, it doesn't put any pressure on me because what people like about me is me being me. And there's going to be people who don't like me for sure. I know them.
Sons of bitches, Ron.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Are they in the comments section? Don't read those.
No, they usually used to be married to me, but it's either way.
Oh, sure. Of course. Oh, yeah, I know. I know those people. Yeah. I know those people well. Yeah. Sure.
Well, I think all those people that are enjoying the Ron Funches experiences, and I don't mean to play business manager here, but I had this great idea for bunches of Funches. It's a morning cereal, and
I'm sure you're the first. I'm sure he hasn't heard that one.
No one's ever said it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, you began your stand-up career in your early 20s. I'm curious, Ron, how has life impacted your material since then? Because, I came on the Ron Funches train maybe like 5 years ago, but so I didn't know the full start.
Wait, before you answer that question, he always wants to answer these. I like to know how this began. So you go from Chicago. No, I do it. This fascinates me. Look, I started out as an actor at 14. I've never done anything else. I don't know how people like choose a career in the arts and go for it. This is beyond my experience. So you move from Chicago, you move to Portland. You're a young man, and you're like, I'm going to be a comedian. How did that work? How did that happen?
I mean, I always wanted to be a comedian since I was a little kid. I loved comedy. I just enjoyed the rhythm of stand-up.
But did you think you could be a comedian? Did you think,
no,
this is a thing?
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay, so where did the idea of being a comedian actually come up?
I mean, desperation, really.
The Hail Mary.
Oh, so like everyone else in the arts, desperation.
Yeah.
And a need to be loved. Sure, go on.
Yeah. Well, I had my son when I was very young, and my son when I was 20, and I needed to get some type of career going, and I started working at like a bank call center, and then I found out that my son had autism, and it kind of just freaked me out in a lot of ways. It made me be like, oh, I need to find a career, and I need to find something in case he needs to be with me for the majority of his life. And truly, the only thing that I thought of that I could do that could possibly make me a lot of money and that I'd be willing to start at the bottom of was stand-up comedy. Now, as I'm 40, approaching 41, I wouldn't ever think that was the right move to do. But at 23, it felt
seemed like a good idea, huh?
Yeah. Exactly. And 923 me was right. So, yeah.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. It's worked out. I mean, I'm sure there's been speed bumps along the way, but.
Yeah. 7 years of.
You think?
Yeah.
I was going to say. It's first time out. Boom. They wanted me to do Jimmy Fallon. Of course not.
So you wanted to do it. You didn't know you could do it. When did you know that you were doing it and that you were a success?
I guess the other part of that question is, when did the bank call center get their notice?
They got their notice way too early.
I like it. You had faith in yourself.
I mean, I just hated that job, and I didn't. Once I found comedy, my passion for it just kind of took over, and I stopped. Just kind of, the hours were not conducive to each other. Stand up, I had to be at work at 5:30 in the morning, so trying to be out doing open mics at like midnight, 1 a.m. and get back.
The edibles didn't work for that job either.
Yeah, no, not at all. So it became a thing where that job went away very quickly. I just focused a lot on comedy, just doing a bunch of odd jobs, anything, little gigs that would help me get from one thing to the next. I don't recommend it to anyone. It was very stressful, especially with having a kid. But um, I think it helped me stay motivated and push me to keep going. That's for sure.
At what point did you start actually consciously writing things and going, okay, let's see if this works, let's see if this works, and started to get real feedback going, you know what? There's something here.
Probably like a year before I started, like when I was 22, I started just keeping a notebook of jokes and just catching things and trying to write different jokes. It started off just like writing types of jokes, I would write a black joke or a white, this joke or that joke or so.
Sure, political joke, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Until I learned what my style was and stopped
Boy,
trying.
did you learn your style? Holy cow! Did you find that?
Thank you.
So Ron, you mentioned your son, you mentioned writing. For me and my kids, like they're my best audience. Did you think as a dad that you could do this because your kids found you hilarious, or your kid at the time? I know you have two now.
No, I mean he never really thought I was that funny. So if anything, he was a critic, a real jerk to get over with. But
thick skin, right? You gotta have thick skin.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it taught me. Those are more the lessons that I learned, was to be patient and to be motivated, and that I had somebody else to there's a lot of distractions in stand up, like you can go out drinking and hanging out all the time, and I treated it like a job from the get go, and I don't think it would have been the case if I didn't have my son.
Well, and there's a lot of, it's like the restaurant industry, right? It's mostly nights. You're doing mostly late nights and multiple shows a night and going all around the country to do it.
Yeah, no, that's what was the hard work of it all. That's what a lot of people didn't see. But the few people in my life that do this, what they give me praise for is that, like, a lot of comedians, they're up at like midnight, but not many were also up at 6:30 in the morning getting their kid on the school bus. So it was a lot of. I might take some naps in between, but
Sure,
it was a lot of work. Still a lot of work.
Well, I'm a big proponent of naps, as Danny knows.
Yeah. Oh
so
my God,
they're
it's
just
unbelievable.
Take a nap. Have 2 days every day. Come on.
There you go.
You talk about it in your Comedy Central special, which is great. But I guess I have to ask, because it's such an amazing feat to consistently stay on whatever program you were on that allowed you to lose 140 pounds. Can you talk a little bit about how that changed you, how that experience changed you, what the genesis of that was, and how you've been able to maintain what you're maintaining?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, the genesis of it was that I was gonna die. So
the genesis of it is I was fat.
Yeah, I was not breathing well. Strangers were waking me up on airplanes, telling me that I had sleep apnea. It was not a good time period in my life. My mom was very concerned about me, and some other people were very concerned about me, and I always like to give credit. Bill Lawrence, who was one of the, like, he was undateable. He was one of the people on Ted Lasso. He reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, I noticed I've seen you working out at the company gym. We go away for a bit and you put on more weight." He's like, "So something's telling me that you want to do it, you just don't know how to do it right." And I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much it." And so
ding.
Yeah. So he got me a trainer that I worked with for several years. And for the first year that I had my trainer, Bill paid for it, and just kind of, and that was very helpful, because
so you had a guardian angel, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And then you just got momentum.
Yeah, and just liked it, like how I felt, like that it was due to my body, changed my rhythm comedically, helped me be able to have more in between, just instead of just this real like melodic rhythm, and just healthier, be around longer for more opportunities. So there have been ups and downs. It's never been like a straight line. I lost 140. I put back on like 30, and then I've been taking that back off, doing jujitsu, Pilates, trying a bunch of new things.
Yeah, man.
I had loved hearing about your jujitsu. I have a big martial arts background, but even more than that, I loved your love for wrestling. I don't know if you can see behind me, but
I
I got
saw the
some
Andre the Giant.
Hitman signed cards, some Shawn Michaels. For me, wrestling is like the ultimate escape. What's wrestling for you?
Wrestling for me is just like fun and like old school television with the proper rhythm of like rooting for a hero, having a villain. Like, just I like the structure of it. I like how simple it is, and it helps me fall asleep. So, um,
So it's a sleep aid. I like that.
yeah,
It is crazy though, Ron, because like growing up, it was on like once or twice a week. Now you can watch wrestling every
every
single
day.
night.
I know, and I have to stop myself from doing that. I have to limit it. I told myself this year, I was like, "You're too narrowly focused on wrestling, so you gotta bring it down."
We all have our own version of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working on it, but I'm also planning a trip to go see wrestling in Mexico, Berlin, and London within two weeks of each other. So
Wait. You're doing an adult wrestling trip?
yeah, well, I've
That's
been doing
outstanding.
multiple. Yeah, I just got back
Wait,
from one.
I was going. Were you in Florida? Did you go to the one in Florida? The one?
No, I was in Tokyo, Japan for
Oh
Wrestle
damn!
Kingdom.
Oh
Yeah,
damn!
Oh,
we were watching Bryan Danielson and Okada in
nice,
Japan.
nice.
Now I want to go to. I never seen Lucha Libre in Mexico, so I want to go to their big event, the Triple A
Ron, I'm playing
Mania.
business manager again. I'm seeing another reality show here where you travel around to all these wrestling shows.
I love it. Let's pitch it out. People like it.
So, when you are writing new material, what kind of headspace do you have to be in, Ron? Because we talked about like the nap, the 100 milligram gummy. What is the go to brain focus for you to write new stuff?
The go-to brain focus is just happiness. Like, if the more jovial I am, the more things that I find funny, the more funnier I can be, and the more things I can catch. Sometimes if you're depressed or not doing well, all those things can motivate you to write. Like, I've found that those time periods is when I don't find as many things funny, so it's hard for me to see it. Well,
Do you keep
even.
the same process? Like, do you still write in books and do that, or has that changed? Because Jason's a writer, a very prolific writer, and he's ticked up. He's got system,
I'm all
Oh
notebooks.
wow, I wish.
bro. He's got systems. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't deviate from the system. So, and it's worked for him. So I guess I was asking essentially the same question to you.
Oh, I wish I could be as prolific because I don't find that many things interesting. So it's a lot of my
Hence the
material.
limited focus.
Yeah, yeah. So my material is a lot of internal stuff, just things that have been going on in my life. Growth changes, the divorce stuff I've been going through has been helping me write a lot. But if I don't have that, I've never been like, hey, do you know what's going on in the news type of comedian. So I tend to write when things affect me. So if I'm angry, if I'm feeling embarrassed, if I feel if I feel a pure emotion come from me, then I go like, oh, what is this about? I should capture this because if it's affecting me, it'll probably affect an audience.
So you're basically tuned in. Just basically, it's part of your lifestyle. It's part of how you roll.
Yeah, I call it more fishing. Like, I've been trying to be more prolific and active in the way I write, but I kind of just like fish. And if something catches me, I just try to make sure I jot it down and then try it out as soon as possible before it gets stale.
Hmm. Well, it seems like you've been really open, Ron, on your podcast about your struggles this past year, 2023. I'm curious, outside of the material, outside of writing, has that podcast sort of been a escape for you in terms of just being able to pour yourself out there and talk through things that you needed to work out to work them out?
He's doing research, is what he's doing, Ron. He's doing research on you.
Yeah, I mean, I always treat my podcast as like a personal journal that you're allowed to listen to. So it's been that way from the get go. It was a little difficult to adjust. From my podcast, for a while was mostly about like, oh man, I found this girl and I'm in love and I'm excited, and to kind of be like, oh, I don't feel that way anymore. Maybe.
Yeah. By the way, it's a very common experience. You are not alone.
Yeah, that's what I found. But at the beginning, I felt a little foolish about it and didn't really want to talk about it. But the more I embrace it, that's what I found. I got a lot of people giving me feedback, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've been divorced 3 times. I've been this or that," or just a lot of people help picking me up. And I feel you don't get that unless you let people in.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really easy in the rear view mirror, right? They're like, "Oh yeah, no problem. I'm gonna talk to them when they were in the middle of it. How did that go?" Right? You know what I mean? Like, surely when you're describing it after it's happened, it's like, "Oh, I just walked through it. Oh, did you? Oh, is that right?"
Yeah, I get that though, but I mean that's how I am with younger comedians that I see a lot in, because in telling them like, "Hey, be patient, you'll be fine, and you're going to make a lot of money and this and that." And
but you tell them how to be patient. Do you tell them how to be patient? Because it's one thing to tell them to be patient. Can you share your experience on how you were patient under tremendous pressure and certainly trying to raise a kid and being in Portland, not Los Angeles or anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Should I keep telling you what you thought? What you said?
If you like it, to make it
no. I'm trying to, I'm trying to help you here. Give you a little push. That's what I'm here to do.
I mean, yeah, I'd certainly go from experience. It's a thing that runs in my family. My mom is also really good at that. My mom's been through a lot of things, and some of it not the best, but all of it she's used for life experience until if anybody else needs something, like I know I can call her and ask her a question and she has the best advice. And I kind of try to use that in my own way. Like I've been that for a lot of things. I was one of the first, or if not the first comedian out of my generation to leave Portland and go and do other things. And so I've always kind of been like a trailblazer and then like helpful with whatever I learned, but also know that what works for me probably won't work for you because I'm weird.
I love that you mentioned your mom because she's always present in your stage performance, in your set. If I mentioned my mom in anything I did, she would lose it. What does your mom think about being part of the show sometimes?
She's gotten certainly much more into it than she used to be. The more,
the better you got, the more she was into it. Is that it?
Yeah, I think you get it. When she started meeting Justin Timberlake and stuff like that, she started being like, "Okay, so you can say whatever you want." Before then, there were a little bit of issues, and there've been issues with other family members about jokes like that. But for the most part, people who love me and know me know that like that's how I write. And I always try to write from a perspective that I love you. I might make a joke about you, but I've never been like, "Oh, this person sucks and I hate them." That's not my style of comedy. Yeah. So my mom is always, and I'm not lying. So usually she's just like, "All right, that is who I am." I'm hopeful that one day she'll get on stage and do some stand up because I know she would like to try it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes across that your heart's in the right place, no matter what you're talking about. I mean, I think that's part of, what makes you so unique and fun to watch is that you do have the room to, tread into areas that will make people uncomfortable, but it really comes off like your heart's in the right place. I think that's kind of what makes you special, man.
And I think that's how I work my writing style as well, is that, you take something from a friend more than you would somebody you don't like, so the more that I'm able to present myself as in this nice manner, and even dress up like I like to just dress my best. If I'm doing a special something, I wear a suit, but not on most things. But I always found that like if you present that, it allows you to go into more places with authority, and it makes it easier for people to accept you. So it just works for me. I have a few jokes like now where I go like, "Wow, if you couldn't feel my heart, you'd be like, that guy's a piece of shit." But I'm not.
What about sweaters.
No, you can feel it. And I think this is a great segue, Ron, because you mentioned dress. We wanted to talk sweaters today. My daughter is a huge fan of Nailed It. She's 7 years old. And your appearance solidified my love for sweaters. That sweater was the bomb. I'm curious if you knowingly set out to have sweaters be a part of your look.
I mean, sweaters are just a part of my look. It's when you're a chubby man, a sweater is great because you can both dress up a bit and it covers some of the meats areas, the love handle areas. I love a sweater for all of that, and it allows you to put a pop of color in places, mess with different textures. Sweaters are the best, I think.
Yeah, but I find when I'm at my most heavy and I do vacillate, I never wear a sweater. It accentuates the exact wrong things. Maybe I got the wrong sweaters.
It is, yeah. You want you want more of a cardigan, like you want
I
it to
see.
Wrap around a shawl type of item. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like
You've made that mistake.
Oh yeah, a full crew neck type sweater.
Yeah, with tight. It looks good on everybody else but you.
Yeah, and you're like a sausage casing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I look like.
But when I think of the Valley, Ron, I don't think of sweaters.
That's very true. A lot of times you got to suffer for fashion.
Let me tell you something. 3 days a year it gets cold in the Valley.
Another reason why you got to come out to Boston and do a show, Ron. It's cold.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the best parts about traveling out east at this time of year is I get to bring the sweaters out. I love it.
See, I found the hoodie during the pandemic because I was putting it away during the pandemic, and I found the hoodie, and I became more of a hoodie guy. Are you equally a hoodie guy as you are a sweater guy, or is it what's the percentage there? Bud?
Started off a hoodie guy. Was big hoodie guy in the beginning. Novelty hoodie, Batman logo, Superman logo, something like that.
Oh.
And then as I got more successful in comedy, I tried to move into a more higher end hoodie, more just a general colorful hoodie. And now it's all fun sweaters. This one's fun. This one's just it's crocheted.
That is fun. That's like it's a blue with flowers. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And so now I've been moving more into just regular sweaters and a nice cardigan. That's I like to call my style colorful casual or Black Larry David.
Black Larry David. Have you had fans, Ron, send you any sort of hand knitted sweaters? Anything homemade?
Yeah, I have had people knit things for me. Made me a beanie. Yeah, I actually make.
It's not a sweater. That's a beanie. It's much easier than a sweater.
You said other things. You didn't say just sweaters.
All right, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm nitpicky today. I've had too much coffee.
Were you going to say that you've made some too? Is that what
I like making sweaters and things of that nature. Yeah.
Well, hold on. What do you mean you like making sweater? What you're busy watching WrestleMania and you're like what knitting a sweater while you're doing it?
Not knitting, but I sell like tie-dye crew necks and hoodies as merch with my name on them.
You do? That's cool. Mm-hmm. So there's like the Ron Funches sweater?
Yeah.
Like with a picture of you in the center? That'd be dope. That would be fantastic. Like a picture of you smiling on an orange sweater would be dope.
You're not wrong.
You told me I couldn't wear orange, Danny. See, I got yelled at.
You can't wear orange. He'd look great in orange. He probably does.
I do look great in orange.
Yeah, right? You're a little washed out. Nothing personal.
Going back to the sweater from Nailed It, Ron. When you wear a sweater that powerful on national TV, does it kind of kill it like material after a while? You can't use it anymore?
Yeah, it kind of puts a timer on it because I know that there's going to be the time between shooting and it airing where I could wear that sweater every day and I can do whatever I want with that sweater. But then once it airs,
that's it.
You still got a little bit of a grace period because it won't reach critical mass. But when you start getting people online starting to ask you where you got your sweater, then I'm like, oh no, people are gonna start coming out and copying it, and so I put it away for a while.
Don't you have to put it in the show notes now? This sweater.
Well, in fact, I looked it up, and there were like 10 websites telling people where to get That sweat, like you could get Ron's sweater here. The internet is a powerful tool, but it's also can be used for evil.
Yeah.
What's your go-to? Is it a cardigan? Is because you got a cardigan now. What's your go-to sweater? Your favorite?
I'm like you. It's either a cardigan if I'm going out on stage, or if I'm at home, I just pop a hoodie on.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Well, let's take that one step further, Ron. Are you like an overhead hoodie or a zip-up hoodie? I like the zip-up. Feels like a house coat.
Yeah, I prefer the zip up because I don't want to have to go in and out. I feel like a toddler having to pull my arms out, waiting for my mom to come help me.
I also don't like the go through pocket on the overhead. In the zip up, you get two pockets. You get the dual pockets.
No, I like that. I like where you have one pocket. You put glasses in there, a phone. It's much better than the single ones.
See, I have a little dog that'll go right through the full pocket, so it can get jammed up in there.
I also find usually if you do the overhead one, the drawstring often gets stuck somewhere and you can't get it out as easily as you can when the pull one where you can reach in and adjust.
Or you just go to get it out of the laundry and the string's out entirely and you're like, what the hell, man?
And you're like, oh, now we got a new look with this. Now we're loose hoodie.
The only good thing about the zippy hoodie is that when you're putting it on, if you had headphones on, they don't pop off. Have you noticed? I'd had like earbuds on, and you put it and boom, it falls out.
Like a bonnet.
Yeah, it's horrible. So listen, we have an audience question, which I think you're gonna like.
Okay, I don't see anybody here, but sure.
Well,
they ask in advance of knowing who's coming.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let's just let that sit for a second. Nice. Good shot. Thanks, Ron. What I mean is a listener question, and my mom listens, so that's one. Here we go. The audience question or listener question for Ron is Chris M asks, wrestling fan here, as I know you are as well. As much as I enjoy it, I hate the toxic fan base sometimes, especially when the WWE people hate on the EW people and vice versa.
AWE people.
What did I say?
EW or something?
AWE, my bad. AWE. I get them confused. WWE and AWE people and vice versa. What are your thoughts on the fandom of professional wrestling? You know you have this experience all over the world, friend.
Oh, I'm mostly laughing because I always like talking wrestling with people who don't know anything about it.
That's me. Well, that's 50%.
Yeah, well, you got corrected. You still said it wrong. It's WWE and AEW are their issues, and so I just for people to know that I know.
Sorry, Chris M.
But yeah, no, the you think comedy, I mean, I worked in comedy for years and it has a kind of a toxic fan base for sure. But I learned I did one wrestling match and was like, oh my God, this is some of the most toxic things I've ever had to deal with.
Whoa, hold on. Pump the brakes. Mm-hmm. You did a wrestling match? You got in the ring?
Did you not do research?
No, I didn't know that you got in the ring.
Went to school for it.
I did not know that you got in the ring, actually.
Yeah, I got in the ring.
Oh, that's fantastic.
20-minute match. It's on YouTube. You can check it out.
All right.
But when people found out I was doing the match, a lot of people were like, you're gonna ruin the thing that I love because you're gonna suck so much. People are gonna know it's fake, and it was so dramatic. But
that's when people are gonna know it's fake. Oh, thanks. You're the one.
Exactly. They're gonna figure it out.
You did it. You ruined it. You ruined wrestling, Ron.
Not that Hulk Hogan could take out anybody with a big boot.
I love it. Ron ruined it. Ron lifted the curtain. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
But the people who worked there and who were wrestling and stuff, they were so inviting and open, and they loved the fact that I took it serious and that I really wanted to do it. And it was a valuable life lesson. I was like, oh, that's kind of how it always is. If the people who are really doing it tend to be open and want more people to enjoy it because they love it so much. It's the people who are sitting on the sidelines and don't do it and don't have the ability to or don't have the courage to, they tend to be the ones that then tell you everything that you're doing wrong. And and I'm not one of those people that are just like, oh, all criticism sucks. Like, my job is based off of reaction. That's one of the things I love about wrestling, is that was a similar job. If there is no fan, my job doesn't exist. So I need you to laugh or not laugh to let me know what works. But as far as like telling me how to live my life or not letting me figure things out or go off course, that's when it's a little bit too much. But both fan bases can be pretty toxic,
Yeah,
but I
I'm in
love
the
both.
comic book world,
Oh my
Ron. That's what I
God,
do for
another
work. So
one.
that's about
Jeez.
as toxic as it gets. I remember my
Absolutely.
first Comic-Con where I was signing books. The other folks who were at the table with me were upset because I was a baseball fan. And I thought, I'm getting shamed for liking baseball. This is crazy.
Yeah, apparently you have to be narrowly focused. That's the theme of today's
And
podcast.
you gotta know everything that they know. Yeah, also toxic fan base. I didn't know rock climbers, indoor rock climbers.
What?
Very
Really?
What
toxic.
are you talking about?
I went indoor rock climbing for the first time. You think if you just seeing me come through the doors, they would have cheered me and gave
Sure.
me a standing
Applauded you.
ovation. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, wow, look at him do what effort that he's doing to do this. They hated me. They didn't want to
You
talk to
ruined
me. They didn't.
wrestling and
And
rock climbing?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're like, you got to pull up your pants, your butt crack showing. And I'm like, how does yours not show?
Did you do the chalk? Did you get the chalk on your hands and all
For
that?
my crack? Yeah.
Ron, I got one more wrestling question for you.
Sure.
Are you as in love with Dark Side of the Ring as I am? Because boy, oh boy, for me, that's hits all the right buttons.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan of it. Some of them I can't watch because I think they're a little bit too much. Like, I don't want to watch ones like Jake Roberts' dad and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I kind of
That's
pick.
tough.
It is tough. It's pretty tough.
So, all right, now's the time that we bring on Jake Roberts. Ron. All right.
But I enjoy it. But I mean, sometimes it's a little difficult. I'm friends with a few pro wrestlers now, and it's kind of changed my perspective on the way that I judge or like talk crap about wrestlers. So it's a little different for me now.
Awesome. Well, Ron Funches, like I said, you are a gem, and just like the other people said, we don't deserve you. You continuously make me happy, and
I deserve him. I think it was great. I love talking to you, man. I love talking to you, Ron.
Yeah, believe it.
And that's part of the gold right there is your laugh. Your laugh is just like infectious.
Thank you.
As is apparently your butt crack.
Yeah. Yeah, according to them. Yeah, absolutely.
Ron, thank you so much for making the time, man. Really appreciate it. I know you got a couple of shows coming out in February. Is it March?
Yeah,
A
sure.
couple of shows coming back.
Yeah,
Sure.
Luke on Apple TV. Check that out with Maya Rudolph. I love it. And Rock Paper Scissors is a new Nicktoon with myself, Tom Lennon, and Carlos Alzaraki. So yeah, it's a great job. So please check them out.
All right, come to Boston. Come to Boston, Ron.
I will. I love to. That's one of my favorite theater is.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being on.
Oh, thanks for having me. Bye.
Wait, does that mean that I can go take a nap now, Jason? Are we done, or do I have to? Is that no? I got it.
I'm already napping.
Well, not because of that interview. He was fun to talk to. I like him.
Not because of the interview, just because as soon as I'm off the clock, I'm napping usually.
How great was he? Didn't you do your research? I'm like, I missed the wrestling part. I knew the wrestling fan part. I didn't know that you had gotten in the ring. So he had literally he'd like studied it, went in the ring, did his thing. That's amazing.
Yeah, had a legit match. I know. It's one of those sports entertainment. I can't call it sport. People get upset, but it's one of those sports entertainment things where it really is. If you want to do it, and you learn how to do it, how to take the fall right and not get yourself or somebody else hurt, you can find local schools. There's one here in Massachusetts, and there's lots of local organizations that you can get your start in and work your way up. And I mean, I didn't know that it was on YouTube. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go take a look at that match.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, you should know more than me, but I love that, he used whatever, clout he had as a entertainer to be able to do that because he loved it. That's so great. I'm so excited for him. And then he's like, yeah, now I'm I love he ruined it. It's fake? What? It's not
I hope he had like a knitted sweater luchador mask on. That would be amazing.
Well, he's gonna go to Mexico, like he said, and so that he's gonna add that to his repertoire.
Well, that's right.
And it might be made of sweater material.
he really does, like, whatever he has. I know people say somebody has the thing, but he's got a different thing. It's like happiness. He just makes me happy.
Yeah, I think he's found something that is unique to him and really works. And I meant it. I feel like, there's not a lot of subject matters that are, off the table for him because his heart is in the right place. And I love that he quote unquote gets away with it because everyone should quote unquote get away with it in the spirit of humor and trying to make people laugh. I love it.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, this was great. And he didn't know we had an audience, he said. It was like great. We had it. Yeah. My mother, she's listening. She thinks the show is fantastic. And
we might just have to add some crickets.
We should add some crickets. And as my mother would say, thank you for listening.
Music by Denny Nucci. Produced and edited by the same two people you heard hosting this show because they have no friends.